everybody, my name's Lindsay, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about New Year's resolutions since it is January. For many people, the New Year is a time of new starts and self-improvement. For some of us, this means that we start a new exercise plan, which both inspires excitement and dread. We all know how this story goes. We join the gym, we buy the running shoes, and we go okay for a week or two, maybe even 3 if we're lucky. And then it all starts to get a bit too hard. And by the end of January, we're right back to where we started, feeling pretty defeated. If only I had more self-discipline, more willpower, you say to yourself, and this self-blame just makes you feel worse. But here's the thing. What if it's not some sort of personal moral failure and it's just how you're going about it that makes it so hard to stick to exercise, or any other big change in behavior for that matter? Psychologists are well trained in helping people to change their behavior in a sustainable way. So I'll let you in on a few of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to change their behavior and how to fix them. I'm using the example of exercise, but can really be applied to almost anything. And the first major mistake I think people make is that they're too vague about what they want to achieve. Most of us have heard about the importance of setting goals, of course, but there are definitely good goals and not so good goals. Wanting to be fit, for example, is not a good goal because it's too vague. So how do you measure that? What does being fit mean to you? Be more specific. Aiming to be able to run a 5K without stopping, or to do 10 push-ups in a row, those are good goals because they're measurable. It's easy to tell whether you've achieved them or not. All you have to be able to do is count. And when a goal is measurable, it's much easier to chart your progress. It's easy to tell whether you've achieved them or not. And that keeps you motivated. Seeing yourself being able to run farther and farther distances or do more and more push-ups makes you want to keep going. Another problem I see for people sometimes trying to change their behavior is that they're unrealistic. Now, you may have been a couch potato all your life and suddenly you decide, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm actually fine with that. People have done it for sure. But we both know it's going to take a while, so I would strongly urge you to pick some shorter and medium-term goals as well to keep you motivated. When a goal is going to take a little bit too long to achieve, or it's a little bit too far in the distance, you're much more likely to lose motivation on the way. You have to be realistic about what you can do when you start out. If you already run 4 days per week, it's realistic to think that you can bump that up to 5. If you haven't run in weeks, months, or maybe even years, thinking that you're going to start out the new year running 5 days a week for 30 minutes each time is not realistic, particularly if you found motivation to be an issue in the past. So try running for 20 minutes, 3 days per week. If you aren't sure you can achieve that, keep setting the bar lower until you reach a point where you know for sure that you can achieve it. If running is too hard, walk. If walking for 20 minutes is too hard, try 10. If you do nothing other than change into your exercise clothes and then sit around for 15 minutes before changing back, that's still doing more than you did yesterday, and that's the definition of progress. Another mistake people make is having no deadline. So perhaps my goal is doing 10 push-ups, but if I have no deadline by which I want to achieve that, I'm much more likely to take my sweet time and maybe not get there at all. Figure out a realistic timeline for achieving your goal and add a little bit of extra time to allow for unexpected setbacks like illness or minor injuries. If you're not sure, consult a professional or just Google it. If you want to be able to cycle 25 Ks, enter a race scheduled for a few months down the track. That creates a sense of urgency, which will make you more likely to stick to your plan. Another mistake people make is allowing other things to be a priority. Look, we're all juggling a million different priorities, and there will absolutely be times when something else gets in the way of being able to stick to your plan. But if you're making your exercise or whatever your behavior change is your biggest priority, these times should be limited. So what do I mean by making it a priority? I mean that you schedule the rest of your life around your exercise rather than the other way around. Most of us are time poor. I'm not suggesting that everyone needs to make exercise their top priority. We all have different things that we value and how we choose to allot our time, and that's okay. But if you're determined to reach your goal, it's going to be very difficult to do if you don't prioritize it. Another major problem that people face sometimes is having black and white thinking. We all do this at one time or another. You wake up one morning, it's cold, you're still sore from yesterday, or maybe you hit snooze too many times and you don't have enough time to do your normal workout. You say to yourself, well, I can't do the whole thing, so I may as well do nothing. That's where the black and white comes in. This kind of either or mentality really gets in the way. Anytime something feels too hard, make it a little bit easier. An hour of yoga is too hard, make it 30 minutes, or 15, or 5. Often you'll find that once you get going, you can do more than you thought you could. And if not, that's okay. You did something instead of nothing. There are always shades of gray. And finally, a big mistake people make is not giving themselves credit. Yeah, sure, seeing ourselves achieve our goals is rewarding, but what do we do when we get there? For some of us, that's where we decide to stay. For others, they set the bar higher, make the goal tougher to achieve. Either approach is fine and depends entirely on your own values and objectives. But no matter what the next step is, reward yourself for getting this far. It's not easy and you deserve credit. For some, this might mean booking a holiday. It might mean a massage. It might just mean an hour to yourself with a good book and a great cup of coffee. Whatever it is, make sure you don't skip this step. You deserve it.